Okay, so this is our camera unit. Each camera unit is laid out exactly the same across all 3 camera positions. At the front of our camera position, we have our QScript monitor, which allows us to send through prompting signals from our QScript desk in the gallery. This is so that presenters can read off from a script, or if you're filming a film production, your actors could use a script as well. Just at the front, under the hood, we have our lens. We don't actually touch the lens unit. Everything's operated remotely from the servers at the back. So any controls that we utilise should be done from the CCU unit in the gallery. At the base of the camera, we've got all our support rigging. So this holds the camera in position and allows us to mount other features such as the viewfinder. We have our QScript rig so that we can mount our QScript screen and monitor. At the bottom, we have our video tripod, our fluid video tripod head with our adjustable tilt and pan locking mechanisms. We also have our fluid and friction control rollers, and we have our pan friction control roller. The friction control rollers allow us to apply friction to the movement, whether it's pan or tilt, which allows for smoother movements or very fast fluid movements. Just underneath, we have our bowl adjust, so I can undo the bowl adjustment lock and canter the camera position, much in the same way that I can pan the camera left and right by unlocking my pan control or pan lock, and I can tilt the camera by unlocking my tilt lock feature. The rest of the unit works the same way as in any tripod. We can adjust the height position by unlocking and locking these lock switches. At the bottom of the camera units, we have our dolly wheels. This allows us to do dolly movements, but also lock off for a static camera position. So we have a lock on switch and a lock off switch. So before moving a camera position, we need to ensure that all of the lock switches on the wheels are in an off mode. Coming back up to the camera unit. So at the back of the unit, we have our CCU display, which allows us to, at the top, talk back through to the gallery. So I flick that little silver knob up to talk and flick it down to turn the talk off. Just coming down from that, we can see that there's a level adjustment control that allows us to change the volume through to our headsets. You'll notice that currently there's a red tally light on this CCU, which signifies to the camera operator that we are the current active camera. The tally lights are in various different positions on this camera. We have one on the back of the CCU, and then one on the inside of the viewfinder, which signifies on screen the PGM or mix program function, and two smaller red lights for our mix program video. You'll then also note at the front of the camera, on the front of our viewfinder, we have the tally prompt light so that our presenter knows which camera is active. The program signals are red and the preview signals are green, much in the same way as when we're editing, we have our preview and program tallies as set as red and green. Coming further down on the CCUs, you'll notice that there are operational lights. We have SDI links, video return signal links, sync links, which are ensuring that our vertical and horizontal pictures and signals are in sync. We have our prompt light sync, meaning that we are getting a prompting signal. Just down from that, we have a secondary display, as we're not taking any audio signals or intercom signals through our camera position, these are null. Our CCU position becomes active if we have any faults on our CCU. So the TC light is so we can be assured that the time code is being generated and being sent. We have an optical link light. Should these be flashing red or amber, we need to note that the optical link over the back of the fibre unit isn't functioning correctly. This is a time where we should call our technician. We also have a power light, meaning that we are getting power through to the CCU. So as a point of focus for any overcoming any obstructions, the first note to point is, are we having any power going to the unit? So the power, video signals, prompting signals all come in over this fibre link cable. It's really important on the fibre link cable not to snag or roll anything over the cables. Walking on the cables is ill-advised as well. So, you know, kind of intermittent bends won't do the cable very good. So it's really important to remember this, particularly when we're dollying the camera about the studio, not to roll over or walk or place heavy objects onto the cables. So you'll notice in the viewfinder we have something set up as a subject. At the back of the camera we can zoom in and out using this pressure sensitive rocking switch. To my left I have my zoom out functions, and to my right I have my zoom in functions. You'll note that as it is pressure sensitive, pressing slower on the function will zoom in, will perform a zoom in slower. Pressing fast will zoom in fast. You'll also note that there are two other switches that we need to be aware of on our zoom servo. These are return video and VTR. VTR is our record function. We can record independently to the cameras. However, in our current setup, we record out to the gallery. Our return video function merely shows us an active camera or an active video source. So at the moment, my active camera, as we noted from our tally symbol, is our mix program, which is our current camera. When I press return, you'll note that it just merely gives me the same camera position back. If I was to have a VT playing, or if I was to be in the middle of a Skype interview, that return video would show me those necessary video sources. Coming over to our focus servo, we use the twist mechanism on this to focus in and out, or soft and hard. You'll note on my screen that when I'm incredibly zoomed in, I can twist for a more accurate picture, so that our pictures are never soft again. However, I also have things to assist me with this. I have my focus assist button, which brings up a blue scan of the image to show me what elements of my subject are in focus and out of focus. This is particularly useful during close-ups, but also when we perform crash focuses. Note that now everything in the image is in focus. We can turn focus assist off should we wish to return to our normal coloured image. We also have scalable focuses. The one-to-one function, much like a zoom or focus assist button, zooms into the image so that we can get a more accurate focus. We have our peaking functions, so we can show what parts of an image may become peaked or very high in exposure. We have our contrast functionality for monitoring purposes. We've also got our bright functionality. So we have a brightness and contrast output signal. It is important to note that this won't actually affect the image itself, merely the representation that we see on the viewfinder. We also have a status button which allows us to see the various statuses should we want to get rid of the status symbols. You'll also note that on this camera position we have the ability to insert SD card slots. This is so that you can insert an SD card, record to the camera and take the footage away for post-production. Okay, so at the front of my fluid head I have my pan lock. If I adjust it to this position, it's locking off the pan facility. If I unlock it, it now allows me to pan the camera left and right. I also have on the bottom this friction mechanism. On 0, it becomes very, very fluid and loose. On 5, which is the other extreme, it becomes quite tough and harder to move. On the left of my fluid head, I have my tilt mechanism lock. So turn this anti-clockwise and it'll unlock, so I can perform my tilt movements. Turn it clockwise to lock and the camera position will again become static. I have my friction controls on the sides of the head, which allow me to make the camera position very, very fluid.